Hey mother flipping piece of greatness. In this video I'm gonna tell you some things that no one's telling you about how to apply basic Qigong. Like, you have all those tutorials on YouTube for how to do the movements and nobody fucking tells you how to actually gain a lot of power in them until you're able to gain a ton of meaning in your life quite quickly if you have more than an hour at least to spare on them. If you don't have an hour to spend on these movements, then good luck not struggling for years and years, like pretty much most people alive ever in human history, because that's how long it takes to build up something meaningful. Like, I've just been applying these principles, the strategy, for 6 hours since 1:22 a.m. until 7 a.m. and I felt compelled to create this video. And if you're too much of an idiot, too much of a koi fish to watch this whole thing and gain value from it, then just go ahead and fucking watch the fucking chicken video to the side. And with that aside, I'd really appreciate if someone actually watched to the end or just go ahead and leave comments like I do, in that when something sparks your emotions, just put timestamps next to the things that spark your emotions in this. So, like, there's two biggest pet peeves of this. Like three biggest pet peeves, which form the mindset, mental foundation of the reasons why I'm passionate about this. First of all, I think that one of the main things making just people so fat and dumb today is because all this passive stress from people just not caring whatsoever and being completely indifferent to what you have to say and what you are doing builds up, and while your body says, well, we're stressed out, so what do? We go and eat quite a bit, we eat all these toxins, and I'm one of the only people who has almost a diet that's basically toxin free. I'm as toxin free as you can get. And so part of the strategy is something that no one really tells you, for how I believe you gain that feeling back that you're a significant human being that actually matters despite the indifference. And again, it's something that nobody tells you. Although, if you don't have my solution to social media and you keep getting and so if you don't have that solution and you feel psychologically forced to go to these social networks to post, like if I post on Instagram, if I look at these analytics on Instagram, then it's like, just get rid of all of the feelings of appreciation and importance that you have in your system for how much you appreciate yourself, how much you love yourself, how important you are. Just go ahead and chuck them out of the window, because it's like, fuck you, like everybody's trying to one-up themselves. I mean, one-up other people? Like, I've posted a lot of world records to Instagram, and my most popular video on there is a 30-second clip where that is admittedly so weird that the average person wouldn't have any fucking clue over what I was fucking doing. And so basically, great opportunity for people to just think that they're better than me. You get the point. Second, most people are smoking right now. I believe because today's time, it doesn't fucking teach you how to release your emotions safely and power the process up. aside from sports. And the limiting ways it tells you to do that are just going and seeing a counsellor, which the statistic on that is if you want a significant change, you have a 20 to 30% chance of a significant change over 7 years of going to a fucking counsellor. So really the only benefit of all that counselling stuff is basically the benefit of talking to people, which we're tribal human beings, so, and we have such a lack of community in today's world, don't we? So, this video I'm going to tell you the safe way to do that, in a way that it helps you at least to keep your shit together, right? And that's the main thing that people are really struggling with right now. I've had to learn how to master that, and I've felt more emotional freedom as a result of it, definitely. If you tear up over the thought of the mistakes that your parents have made, then it's going to be worth watching this thing. It's going to be worth watching this thing because this is the only relief that I found from this. Like, the option that I don't have that I would absolutely love to have for emotional release is rollerblades or ice skates, right? Or perhaps surfing, although the water in South World is mostly just fucking flat. I don't have those methods of release, and I believe the devil just kept on taking rollerblades away, and it's not an option. I hate it. I've been doing a lot of that's going to be the first thing that I'm going to cover is just esoteric prompters, because I've been using them all over the place since I figured that out. So there's also there's one more thing that I think you may need to know, that especially during these times when we have emotional stresses that we're not designed to handle as human beings. And so if you encounter emotional stresses that you're not designed to encounter, this is going to be very valuable to know. What it is that if you go and gain skill, so if you sensitize yourself to all these basic meridians and basically kind of feel your way around your energy system in a custom way, then if you can't do basic Qigong for a few minutes, then it probably means that you're in deep shit, because one, it means that you probably can't feel good for no fucking reason. Number two is that the basic Qigong is, if you're able to do it for quite a bit of time, perhaps forever, it means that you are human emotionally. It means that you're functioning emotionally on human levels. If you can't do it, it means that you have too many stuffed down emotions to make these movements doable. Like if you can't do, for example, basic bear swaying, then it probably means that you've got too many stuffed down emotions like anger, resentment to relax properly. If you can't do Michael Wynn's deep earth pulsing, or just basic grounding for a few minutes, it probably means that you're just stuck in a lot of anger. With that being said, so the last thing I'll say before I go into the main content is that I believe the video that I've made on Pt1 Black success principles is also quite invaluable for comprehending what to do in relation to this video. So if So go ahead to that video directly after watching this one. You're going to need quite a few crystals in order to do this. Like quite a few. You're going to need at least one clearance crystal. You're gonna get a community-oriented crystal for those feelings of that you matter. Get negativity protection crystals. Probably just for criticism, right? Especially if you're a snowflake. Get a heart endurance crystal, which is very valuable if you want to stay away from addictions. The negativity crystal and protection from negativity crystal is required if you want to stay away from the parasites that make you want to go to these platforms in the first place, and secondly, make you feel like you don't matter whatsoever. So get rid of your feelings for how you appreciate yourself. If you're addicted to Instagram analytics, for example, go ahead and know what your zodiac animals are. I'm a dragon, a snake, double monkey, so if I want to be less of a show off, I'm probably going to have to learn some monkey qigong, which I haven't yet, although I've mastered the dragon tiger flagship movements and the snake movements. So I believe I've got two basic bear qigong movements down, although I'm not sure if they matter too much. But what a fluorite. I've got a £1 fluorite, which has been invaluable to me in making life more colourful despite all the boredom, and because of another reason. And because of another very subtle reason, forgive the fact the sun is glaring into the camera. Get yourself a white quartz to get into those states of high bliss. What others? This should be quite easy. I've got a dragon egg that I don't use very much. Then got a gate. Tiger's a gate, although that's not very useful if you're just full of anger. Green tourmaline is very useful for refueling you, and but basically, when you're done releasing your anger from the thing I'm going to tell you next, you may want a green tourmaline. Like, size does not matter here. Size doesn't matter here. You could put a small green tourmaline underneath you onto the floor, and it's so that you can get your anger out and not just have all the resentment just go out of your system, and you just say like nothing else has happened. It's like you can actually get refuel yourself with quite a bit more positivity. And then rose quartz, quite valuable. Rose quartz, quite valuable. Jasper, very valuable. I don't know, that's what I'm using. Another kind of crystal all day. The feeling does the job. And my desert rose for heart endurance is invaluable to me. Once you actually know how to use these crystals, which I don't believe that most people really tell you how to use them, I hate it. Like I've given a lot of punches over the past day or two just because I hate how sensationalized the esoteric space is and how generalized it is. You look into the comments sections, read all of them of some of the... I've read all the comments to a few YouTube comment sections now that I'm becoming emotionally free, and pretty much all of them are completely useless on pragmatic levels when you're trying to pragmatize stuff. It's like, well, thank you, love you, love you, love you. It's almost as sad. It's almost as sad as those comment sections of Instagram or Facebook girls posting mediocre selfie mirror photos, and they get hundreds of comments saying that they look amazing, and it's like, dude, she has her camera directly in front of your face, and yet the worthwhile content gets nothing. So go ahead, look at you again. Look, so releasing your anger. Go and look up how you've in everybody's system. I believe there's bound the esoterics for punching. Go ahead and sensitize yourself to the energy line for punching, because that's if you look at Virginia Satir's blamer stance, that people, it's an exaggerated way of looking at when people get really angry and complaining, and they get into fights. This is the way to release when you've been in arguments, or you are really complaining, you really hate something, and you want to get the anger out. It's just that I don't believe they tell you that, especially for today's times, in order to very productively release that anger and actually feel like you can productively cleanse yourself of that anger, get it out of your system, and fill yourself up with meaning, essentially, like clarity, make it so that you can feel you can breathe easier in that moment. You combine it with crystals, like clearance crystals. Your Desert Rose Heart Endurance crystal. They're not that expensive compared to like if you want to free up like £30 a month, and you probably have at least £100 free. You have like 400. I mean, you have like 4 hours. You probably have 4 hours free. On average, for the average person, they have 4 hours a day on social media. So I'm not going to say it's completely going to relieve this stuff, although it's going to gradually help you out. So once you have the esoterics of punching, at least with me, you combine it. You combine it with one of your zodiacs too, because there's bound to be a way that the energy of that punch flows into one of your other animals. Mine flows directly into the punch, so when I do these esoteric punches, the energy from that punch often flows directly into the energy of my snake movement. So I combined those two together yesterday. And although you may not have the snake zodiac, it may be useful. The tiger movements are very, very useful for me. Like motivational tiger movement, I can send that energy to. I've gotten a person out of bed with motivational tiger qigong at a distance before because they resonated with me. Like you may think how, although I am probably way more blissful and way higher than you, just regarding, because I've figured out a lot of stuff which has put me in quite an enlightened position and very, very unique position regarding the mental health, physical health, and the rest of the UK. So that's how. Once you have the esoteric punch, go ahead and power it up